Thank you again for joining me on the Ever Better Talk Show with your host, educator, author, Wanda J. Prower. And it is here, my friends, where we discuss issues of the heart for the young and wise. Well, again, it's a new week, and our topic for today, this new week on the Ever Better Talk Show, is show me. Just show me. All those little grown folks, I call my grown folks my teens. They know how to do everything, but I'm telling you right now, teen parenting, with emphasis on the male parent as well as the female parent. Show me. Please, somebody show me. I don't know how to do this. And this person is asking for help, pleading for help. Leaders, educators, business owners, this kind of character you want to help. Because, teen pregnancy can happen to anyone. We know that. And all the ones who are parents are not the students or the young adult who are not caring. They got caught up in a situation. And we talked in previous talk shows those issues that contributes to teen feeling included within families for social development, intellectual development, all those kinds of things. But right now, we don't want to judge them. It has happened. So we want to embrace them, especially when you come in contact with a young person who says, help me. In my research, I discovered that a humble person, they have an accurate view of themselves. They acknowledge their mistakes and limitations and are open to other viewpoints and ideas. They keep their accomplishments and abilities in perspective, and they have a low self-focus. In other words, they don't think they're all that. And they appreciate the value of all things. This type of teen cares. I am clearly hearing the word humble, but I am feeling emotions of humility. I cannot imagine, my friend, the age of this particular teen father or this teen mother, but even the word of God gives grace and favor to the humble. Well, Proverbs 11 and 12 says it like this. When pride come, then come disgrace. Well, with the humble is wisdom. And 1 Peter 5 and 5 says, likewise, you who are younger, be subject to the elder. Clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another. For God opposes the proud, but God gives grace to the humble. Well, those are going to be our two focus scriptures for this section. Again, Proverbs 11 and 12 and 1 Peter 5 and 5. Both young and adult parents, my friend, will have their early struggles. Whether you're married or not married, we all know that we're going to have our early struggles. But if you have a humble, teachable spirit, honor your parents' teens with good work ethics, you are going to be a winner. Yes, today, my friend, you are listening to the Ever Better Talk Show. This week's topic again is from the young teen dad perspective. Show me. Please show me. I don't know how to do this. Who can tell me why is teen parenthood such a traumatic experience for families? Let's think. High emotions, uncertainties, economic pressures, unstable relationships, yes, stress and restlessness. Teens are biological parents, but they have no domestic decision ability. Their economic or relationships, they have no authority. Hey, they're not married. They're not even close to being married. But yet, it is imperative that you act upon their personal feelings for the welfare and the healthy growth of their child, and to allow and build trust to your parents. Allow your parents to help you. For those reasons alone, young folks out there, can you imagine the frustration teen parents are having? Now, not forced, but willingly to be positioned in a new, being consistently told what to do. Oh, yes, if you are a teen parent and you have birth a child, you are dependent on your parents to provide for you. Guess what? They're going to still be telling you what to do. And everything they tell you, I can promise you, you are not going to agree with it. This, this kind of telling you what to do is far different from the instructions they were giving you when you were, not a parent. Those were little things you thought were difficult, but no, 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 no. Right now, you're in a different position in your life, and they are in a different position. They are not going to have the time many times to explain to you why they're giving you the instructions that they are. It could be for the benefit of the child, it could be for the benefit of the whole family, but the bottom line, you've got to just exhale, and you've got to be respectful, and you must be in a position to honor them with your character and with your submissive attitude. Last week or we talked about, the baby being birthed in the hospital and we're getting ready to come home. So now, yes, we are home now. And so now parents are going to be telling you what to do, how to handle the baby, how to hold the baby, you don't do this and you don't do this. And you're going to need the Lord. But you can do it. Look at this. You are the biological parent and desire the ultimate respect from your parents. But you will gain your parents' respect from your obedience. From your obedience to them, from your respect to them, your patience to them, and your work ethics. If you give your child quality time, they will call you mom and dad. Yes, they will call you mom and dad. And 1 Corinthians says it like this: let all things be done decently and in order. All things be done decently and in order. This is a major piece of advice for young men and young women. Well, let's go back and just reflect on the fact that, parents telling you what to do. You know, they always trying to tell me what to do. Well, let's just refer to or some situation. I'm going to give you a perfect example in just a few minutes. But no matter how deeply in love you and your sweetheart, I'm focusing right now on the young man. No matter how deeply in love you and your sweetheart were, if she says she's pregnant, get a blood test. I think I need to say that again. Let's go back to the scripture again. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. This is a major piece of advice, especially to the teen parent and all men. We know the birth of the baby from the mother. She gave birth. It's not questionable. But no matter how much in love you are, how much she's your sweetheart, if she tells you she's pregnant, get help if you need to, but you need to make sure you get that blood test done. This is, or the DNA they call it now, to establish legal parenthood. This is your first responsibility as an adult toward your child. Make no mistake, parenting, my friend, is a lifelong sacrificial journey with countless unforeseen circumstances. You dare not to put yourself in a position of scandal and shame at the end of the tunnel. Only the eyes of the Lord is in all places. Again, this piece of advice was for the male teen parents. Preteens and teens, do you realize now how important it is to work harmoniously together with respect? To be successful, you must be respectful and assertive. New word, assertive. Assertive. Assertive simply means that not having to be asked to do something. After all, you are a parent now. To volunteer in as many ways as you can to contribute to the well-being of the family, whatever that may look like. Therefore, open, respectful, honest communication is key. Well, with all these different responsibilities, and people are talking to me in a certain kind of way. They didn't say it nice, and they might have used profanity in the heat of anger or frustration. But they are the senior adults. You have to honor them. You are not able to speak back to them in such a way as though you are the provider of yourself and your child. So you got to hold it in the road. There's a term called bagging. I want to introduce that term to you. Bagging, a form of communication. When we are all guilty, I think we all are guilty at some point. Even myself, sometimes you just have to just get quiet. You have to just walk away. You don't want to explode. Walk away if you need to. Well, let's just take this glass of water right here. And some people feel that because you want to be nice, you want to be respectful. I hope you can see this. But there's this glass here, and I'm pouring water in this glass. Someone says something to you, you may like it or you may not like it. But if you just don't ever say anything at all, what's going to happen? Yes. You see that water? It just and that's a breaking point. That's what you don't want to allow yourself to do. Somebody may go like, oh, they're so nice, or you may see something that really gets your attention. It bothers you. It may be a certain child care method or whatever it could be. You just don't want to allow it to just build up. If someone make you upset, so like this. But if someone says something to you that you didn't like, well, the air's coming out. You might can just walk away and cool off just a little bit. But if you just kept or absorbing everything, it could be your own parents or the parents of your child's mother, or whatever the case may be. You don't want it to get to a point where it blows up. That's what happens when you back it. You back it. You just find someone to talk to, someone who's trusted, someone who is who's a great example. You know, someone who you can confide in, someone who can actually tell you the truth, respectfully walking away. But you know something? You have to choose your words carefully. Choose your word carefully. This is going, I can promise you, young teens and parents, please, when you're talking to your teens or your group or even after this or live or video, drive it home. Paint a realistic picture of what this looked like. Because again, if you're speaking to young teenagers who are not pregnant and preteens, you know, they have an opportunity to be proactive. They can go like, oh, I don't want to do that. I think my mom and dad, they're telling me a whole lot to do right now. And I may want to talk back to them, but you know, no, 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 no. It's going to be a whole different scenario. When you are trying to take care of your child, you want to be respected as the parent, but you're not able to take care of yourself. So the parent, your parent, the senior parent, the head of household, they are trying to embrace you because they care about the grandchild and they want to be there for you. But all this stuff just, you know, but you've got to hold it in the road. You've got to guard your words. Find techniques to quieten and settle. Okay? And then, but afterward, once you settle, to keep from blowing up, you know, to keep from blowing up, you can come back when you're calm, whether it be to the parents, your child's mother, or even your own parents. And then you can simply go to them in a calm voice and you can ask permission to talk with them. You know, you just don't walk in and start talking. Say, well, you know, I've got something on my mind, you know. When is a good time we can talk? And you're calm, okay? And then they'll be able to tell you a time that's going to best fit their schedule because they might be in the middle of something right then and they don't want you to feel like they don't want to talk with you, but they really do. But they just have to agree on the right time. So when you do that and you choose your words carefully and you agree to disagree and all your decisions have to be for the best interest of your child. And being a parent means that we have to make a lot of decisions that we don't personally agree with. You know, you do. And that's part of being a parent. That's part about being just mature, period. But if you are a parent, that will not end even when you become 40, 50 years old, 30, 40, 50 years old. We have to always make decisions for the best interest of our child. We can't get hot-headed and just blow off. Okay? We've got to think. We've got to be respectful. We've got to make the best decision for the child. And you know something? That just reminds me. Oh, I needed that. It won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning you. Sooner or later, He'll root in your favor. He's turning it around for me. If you can trust that, He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll turn it around for you. Just pray during this time because, hey, there's work to be done. Your character's got to remain intact. Character at this point is all you have. And the assertive spirit to volunteer to do what you can and to do it well. You got to earn trust. You got to earn respect. And I can promise you, when you earn the trust and respect of your child's parent, oh, you'll benefit a lifetime. your child will benefit over and over and over again. Do it well and you won't regret it. When their parents say, jump, it won't bother you. You'll just say, how high? Well, respectfully. Just put them at ease, meaning you are not fighting against them. You are trying to work with them. They will begin to pay attention to your character. And so many doors can open, not just with parents, but with everyone. That person knows this person. That person knows that person. Your educator knows this educator. This business person, before you know it, everybody, hey, the word's going to get around. This young man or this young lady, they're so diligent. They're so respectful that they are putting in the time to care for their child. That type character will open doors for you. Times may get difficult, but they won't last. But strong people do. During this season, as an effective teen parent, you will learn valuable lessons and gain lifetime relationships. Well, before we end today's show, let's visit the baby. We've just spent some time now reminiscing on getting you settled now that the baby is home, because everything is a little bouncy now. Tension is high, words and communication. So now you have a better understanding of how you can earn the trust and how you can contribute to the family and your child. Or now let's take some time and draw our attention to the little baby. Is it a boy or girl? You know, it's a boy or girl. What's the baby name? Oh, yes. Okay. Let's draw our attention to the baby. Did you know that nearly all adults and new parents, they all agree that listening to a continuously midnight crying baby, that if you gave birth to one child, but if you gave birth to twins, triplets, it's just going to be a choir. Whether you are a teen parent or whether or not you are an adult parent, everyone would say that crying babies and ongoing crying baby at midnight was one of their greatest challenges. I'll tell you right now, go on and buy yourself a rocking chair. I did it. Buy yourself a rocking chair. I love having a rocking chair when I had my babies. I have 2 adult children now. But I'll just foretell you right now, when I brought that rocking chair, the old-fashioned one, the back and forth, depending on your physical health or your baby, that rocking chair just might end up soothing you more so than the baby. Don't get me wrong now. Babies enjoy the rock, but it's not going to be one of those 5 minutes events. It could be 20, 30 hours, even 2 hours. And you'll find yourself having to go to work the next day. This is one of those opportunities where the father working with the parents are able to contribute. The child giving responsibilities to enable the mother to get rest the next day. Okay, and those parents who are married, they live together, you understand the shift that you take, because by the time you finish rocking, it's time for you to get up and go to work. Again, teens and mothers and parents, make sure you're painting a realistic picture to your teens and the teens that you are speaking to, during the season. Because if they are not pregnant and they are still young and enjoying their freedom, let them understand this is where they want to remain for a while. Okay? So right now, the baby's going to be crying. Some babies cry, for a little while, and before you know it, they're asleep. And then the others seem like they just can't get to sleep, at least stay asleep. They may sleep for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and they right back. So let's just talk about why. Why baby cries? Why do they cry? Did you know that? Well, I am speaking to you now. We're communicating. But did you know that crying is the first level of babies' communication? When they're crying, they're communicating with you. I am talking with, can you imagine? I'm going, ee! It's like a different language. You don't know what I'm saying. But as a newborn, that's their first level of communication. And the parent have to be so well connected with their child that you are able to pick up the signals. And you spend time with them, you're going to learn them. And you won't know everything, but you'll know enough to research the next level. So crying is the first level of communication. And cooing is the second level of their communicating with their parents and others. The crying, but then they go to cooing. Ooh, coo, coo, like they're singing a song to you. Coo, coo, coo. And they'll look at you, go, ooh, I'm at the grocery store, behind a couple, and the little baby looks at me and go, ooh, oh my goodness, she's talking to me. Well, they're communicating. That's why baby cries. But let's address some reasons. Reason babies cries. I want you to be cautioned. And right now, let me just stop for a second, because I do want you to make certain you go to my website. Go to my website, www.resolved-2010.com. On the home page, make sure you click help show me, because once you go there, I have some information that is going to enlighten you so much on reason baby cry. And I say this because again, this is one of the most frustrating events for parents and caregivers, especially parents, because they've worked all day long, and nighttime they want to get rest for the next day. But if you know anything about the news, or you can Google it, there have been several infant fatalities, crucial infant fatalities, massive physical abuse that has caused eternal death, eternal injuries, as well as death to infants, simply because they won't stop crying. Can you imagine? They didn't get up and fight like, the teenagers or young adult. They were just crying. Shut up! And the parent give them everything they think they could give them. Just be quiet. And depending on the physical state of the individual, whether or not it's just stress, restlessness, just tired, addictions, or whatever the case may be, they mean for that baby to shut up, and shut up right now. All kind of things happen. Smothering the child, or blows to just shut up. Oh my goodness. Well, let's just move forward right now, because I want to caution you parents that see a doctor call a nurse. There are hotlines that you can call. Even if you don't know a hotline, you can just call your local hospital or nurse. Just call in or to get medications or well, not medication, but or just call in or to ask them or advice on what you need to do. That's number one thing. When a child is crying, you cannot erect that. You want to seek medical help. And let me just move fast forward since we're talking about the baby right now and the baby's health. You want to also guard the baby against um, people kissing the baby on the cheeks. This is a common way that many friends, family show love. They just kiss the baby on the cheek. And with COVID out right now, that is a whole new concept of social distancing, but also too, along with other childhood or communicable type diseases, gets cold, flu, and all that kind of stuff. But the child's skin is very, very sensitive to makeup, sensitive even to lotions or soaps. You don't want anyone just keep the mouth off the cheek. And I think we can just agree on that because kissing is not what it used to be. Whatever comes in contact with that baby's precious skin, that child could have or diseases or even possible sexual, social diseases depending on the breaking of the skin. STDs. Just don't want to chance that. The same thing is true for the baby's hands. Everybody want to shake the baby hand. Let me just say to you that you're not the baby. The baby is not shaking your hand. Okay. When a child is born, these are natural reflexes. Just like if you stroke the bottom of the baby's foot, the toes will curl, or you automatically will blink. Well, when you touch the baby hand, it's going to automatically fold, and they're thinking, "Oh, how are you doing?" Well, what's going to happen? The baby's going to automatically put his hand or her hand in the child's mouth, and of course that can be very detrimental to safety and health. Okay, so now let's go back to reasons that babies cry. Number one, and believe me, there is a distinct, just like singing a song, different parts of the song. You go up high and low, the sopranos and the altos and all that kind of stuff. Well, there is a distinct sound to identify each conditions of the baby. Babies cry because they're hungry. Okay. The mothers and whoever's caring for the babies, one thing about if the baby is hungry, once the baby has been fed, that's it. Baby stops crying. So then that was a cry of hunger. Baby being wet. Okay. The diaper needs to be changed. Change the baby diaper. Baby stops crying. That solved the case. But what if there are rashes? What if there are, even if you change the diaper, the skin is reddened? Or I want to caution you to not, I won't say not, I want to say not, but always, always let your actions be followed, or you can always have the supervision or the recommendations from advices from your nurses and doctors and professional healthcare workers, because what one parent may or may not have been allergic to, this child could be, because now this child is the product of both parents with two separate households, and sometimes mothers may be guilty of just assuming that the child is going to only have their physical makeup or reactions. In other words, what bothers you, the child may not have the same reaction. It could be something totally different. So soaps are it's disregarded. It's not recommended because it has chemicals in it. It can irritate the child. My own child, I had bought all this wonderful stuff, the baby lotions, and he couldn't use any of that stuff. Couldn't use any of it. So the skin being aggravated can cause the child to cry, and you want to know that and look for that. Okay. Now, indigestion. If a child or if the child is being fed and just like we have our indigestion, the gas, and the child is not burped, if the stomach is in pain, then the child is going to be crying. Children cry because they're sleeping. And a sleepy baby, once they may be a little aggravated, starting off, and pretty soon parents going to learn what position or what pat, whether it's on the knee, whether it's on the shoulder, whether in the arm, and whatever you find that works for you and your baby, make sure you share with other caregivers. It could be the father, it could be your child care worker, whoever else is attending with the baby, because once they get used to whatever that little special pat that mom or dad does, then if someone else would follow the same sequence, then they are going to have good results. Okay. And in sleeping with children, you want to not ever just put the baby down to rest and you just go on and not come back. You have to constantly go back and supervise to make sure that they are still safe. There could be movement. Their heads could get stuck in different areas of the crib, or clothing or cloths can cover them for suffocation. No plastic and all that. So many things can happen. You always constantly supervise the child. You don't ever turn your head. And for his pets, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But pets, oh my goodness, pets. I understand it's your dear pet, but you didn't birth a pet. You love your pet, but you did not birth a pet. Okay, but pets have feelings. I understand that, but it is the parent responsibility to make sure that you're supervising your child in whatever situation it may be, whether it's playground, pets, whatever the case may be. No one is going to care for your child as you will, and you need to make sure that happens. Okay, and if it's for small baby who is second the bottle, the mix and spills, or animal loves milk. Okay, animal loves milk. Cats particularly love milk. So you want, again, to never just leave your child there and where it's not supervised. You want to go back and make sure you're looking at constipation. Children cry because of constipation. Maybe it may not happen day one because the child may be too young. The child, for the very first year, pediatrician recommend the child has no solid food. So if there's no solid food, there may not be as much bowel movement. But children will cry if they are consuming anything of solid consistency, solid foods, and certainly there's going to be a bowel movement. And it is very important that parents, whoever's taking care of the child, they are communicating whether or not that child has had that bowel movement for that particular day. And a child should never go an entire day without a bowel movement. It should be even more frequent than one, but it's absolutely one. So you want to communicate that. So they could be in a little pain, if they're crying about that. Okay, if a child is sick, as your parents, young parents, young fathers, young mothers, it's September the 11th right now as we enter fall, but children get sick throughout the year, so it's important that you understand how to correctly take your child's temperature. Hardly anyone is using the old-fashioned mercury thermometer. Usually they're using the electronic ones or the little beep. But whatever one you're using, that's going to be a valuable tool for you to understand. And parents, as you are talking to your teens and you're having your family discussion, that's just a good safety procedure that all family members needs to understand how to do, because, again, with COVID right now, the very first thing, the question is going to be asked, what is your temperature, So practice doing that. Okay, practice doing that. Okay. But as far as medication is concerned, we're just going through all this, right now. We may spend some more time with it a little bit later. But um, whenever our child is sick, and when you go to my website, you'll be able to read my biography there, and you understand my passion for all of this. But I I am an official daycare trainer for recertifications of license, as well as taught the early childhood occupational class itself for many years. So therefore, as far as documentation, we understand the liability for documentation. In other words, you don't make a mistake in giving a child his or her medicine. And the thing is, if a child who's having multiple caregivers, whether or not the dad come in at what, 2 or 3 hours, or the mom or the granddad, whoever it is, it's a good thing that you write down on paper, a little John is supposed to have a teaspoon of whatever this medication is at such and such time. And when that happens, you need to go back and write down the fact, or scratch it off, say, I gave him his medicine, next medicine due at such and such time. So therefore, no one has to wonder, did the child have the medicine? Did he not take the medicine? One a common mistake that a lot of people make is that if a child is due to be given medication every 2 or 3 hours, if the child is having a nap, they will go like, I'm not going to wake that child up. I'll give the child the medicine when they wake up. No. If that child is required to take medicine at 1 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock in the daytime, whatever the case may be, you give the child the medicine, and you documented the fact that the child's been given the medicine. Let's go back to documentation. Parents, it's important that you share, whether or not you have the little cups, or whether or not you have one of these little little spoons, medication spoon. It's very important that you all practice to show, if it's a teaspoon of medicine or a fourth teaspoon of medicine, hold that up. Use water to show what that looks like. 1 teaspoon of medicine or 1/2 teaspoon of medicine. Because I can promise you, with our sweet boys and girls, even some adults, when you say give a child 1 teaspoon of medicine, you need to know what their teaspoon look like. It may be a tablespoon. It may be almost full, not quite full. Hey, you can't take any chances. You have got to confirm the fact of how much medication, where the medication is. Everything must be written down, scratched off, to confirm this child has had his medicine. Now, let's go back. I'm rushing through this because we're talking about medication. But when a child is very young, there is a period of time when the doctor says, give this child no medication. Child could be born in December. Child could be born in November. And everybody in the family has a cold. And this child comes down with a cold. You cannot just give that child medicine because you know this is the right medicine for a cold. Because that child's immune system has not built up. That's why breast milk is so important. It's so valuable, because once the mother has consumed the medications and the vitamins and minerals in her body, they're going to be transferred to the child if she's breastfeeding. But if that's not the case, by no means give the child's medicine without having your doctor approval and recommendation. That could be very detrimental. It doesn't make any difference if your cousin, your nieces, and everybody else had it. Don't give it to the child. If the child is young And if it's not been approved by your doctor, you can call the hospital anytime at night. Even if you can't get an appointment with your regular doctor, they have a help desk to give you information. Okay? Okay. So now, nurture, talking to the child. We're going to talk more about it. That's the social development aspect of raising children. We're going to talk about that more. Internal illness. Again, we want to emphasize the importance of paying attention to a crying baby who will not stop crying. Now, again, if the child is hungry, you feed it, it stops. If the child has indigestion, you burp it, it stops. Child's sleepy, they'll be irritable for a while, but then they go to sleep, it stops. The question is, what is going on when the baby doesn't stop crying? You want to go to sleep. Okay? So now, if the child does not quiet, if you get through the first night, schedule an appointment to find out what the issue may be. Because sometimes there are internal organs. There may be other things going on inside. You know, when the child first come home from being birthed, that is by no means an authorization that this child is fine, because this child is born. It's going to be the day-by-day experiences and the communication of the parent with the doctor to determine whether or not further examinations will be required. Whether or not the liver, the heart, the kidneys, the twisted intestines, all kind of things can happen in the development of a child. But our time is almost up. We have just a few more minutes. But right now, let's focus on colic. Colic. The correct spelling is C-O-L-I-C. Colic. C-O-L-I-C. And I hope that you will go and Google this. You can YouTube it and get all the information you need. But right now, let's just discuss just a few high points. A colic baby. Okay. A colic baby is a normal, healthy baby. The mother did not do drugs during her prenatal stage. But this baby has an inconsolable pattern of her cry. You feed the baby, and especially at night. Sometimes they sleep a little better during the day, but they would just cry unmercifully. And you know this baby's in pain. They'll ball up and they'll scream. Sometimes they will be extending and pulling up on the little legs of the little stomach. You know, when you have them on your shoulder, they'll be like kind of like crawling up a tree. And then they'll stop for a minute and they would expel gas. You can hear the gas. And when they expel gas, then they'll calm down. They'll feel just a little bit better. And it starts all over again. Enlarged or extended stomach, just like you are when you eat those beans or whatever it is that, you know, give you indigestion, onions, whatever the case may be. But the little baby's in pain. They'll clench that little fist. We're talking about newborns now, newborns. Their little face will redden. And they would just cry, cry, cry. In other words, you would rock them. You would walk them. You would talk to them. And they'll be almost like hugging your neck for mercy. And they'll calm down a little bit. And you'll go, oh, what's wrong with my baby? What's wrong with my baby? And you go, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I want to go to sleep. And by the time they start sleeping a little bit, okay, well, what are some causes of this? Some experts believe that colic is the result of an allergy to cow's milk, lactose intolerance, food allergies, in breast milk. In other words, the mother is breastfeeding the baby. Maybe she could have eaten something. Whatever give the mother gas, indigestion, or heartburn is going to transfer directly to the baby. So the mothers have to be careful what you eat. But a colic baby does not necessarily have to have any milk from the mother. Again, cow's milk, and even with that, they will still have some irritabilities. The child is in pain. Nothing life-threatening. That's what you need to remember now. It's not life-threatening. They're not going to die. The little heart is not going to stop beating. It's just a cry that you just want to help them, but they're just crying, crying, crying. But they're in pain. Lots of pain till he is relieved of the intestinal gas. But I tell you, now it goes to like, well, if that's going on, then what can I do to soothe my child? Adults would take medicine like, what Rolade or what Tums, antacid medicine. Well, the doctors, make sure you, again, communicate this with your doctor. You don't want to independently give this child any medication, especially when he's under 1 year old. But they have these little drops. They may have some little tablets. Now, I don't know. Your doctor can tell you, but it disintegrates, or it dilutes the acidity in the child's body to relieve them of their pain. But some of the daily practices, I want to say, some of the daily practices you can do to calm your child, and it works. And I'm telling you this from experience. Or again, I have 2 children. One of my children was a colic baby, and that was when I first was, oh my goodness, that's why I know that it is so important to share with you concerning colic, because I really didn't know a lot about colic, and I thought, what in the world is going on? When all this information came true to me, it was like, wow. But colic baby, and I also had a little spoiled one too, and we'll talk about that in our next show. But right now, I want to inform you on the colic. But a fan, how sometimes you want to have a good nap and you just turn that fan on, the humming of the fan. Well, that humming kind of soothes the child, depending on, what season it is, or, you may not want that cold on your child, but it could be in another direction, so to speak. And they can just hear that little hum, and it just relaxes them. Once their emotions and the chemicals in their body begin to relax, they just calm down, then they feel a little better. So the fan does that. The vacuum cleaner, it does. The ooh, or the ooh, just, plug the vacuum cleaner. They hear that little sound, they go, ooh. While you're rocking, they'll calm down, they'll calm down, they'll calm down. And you all know about riding in a car. Oh, they love to ride in a car now. Put them in that seat. You may not want to ride. You don't want to drive all night, or probably in the middle of the night. But it's just being in the car. They hear the motor. Ooh, and they'll sleep, When the car stops, they may wake back up. But that calms them down, and it soothes them. Sometimes the soft music does it too. Well, okay. Well, feeding. For a colic baby. Now, for a colic baby, this is true. This came straight from the physicians, the pediatrician. A colic baby. When feeding a colic baby, again, the issues that they may be allergic to cow's milk. So they may have to have their lactose intolerance. So there are different formulas that the doctor will prescribe to you that will cause them to not have the lactose. But when you're feeding them, you have to you cannot just hold that baby down, and just feed the bottle this way. This baby has to be set up at a 90-degree angle, with that, with the bottom here and the head up here, and you're feeding the baby the bottle so that the milk comes straight down to the intestines. So it goes straight down. If it's, laying down, it's just going to lie there. You want it to go straight down in the digestive part of his stomach. So, and then the other thing is that you don't get one of those big, tall bottles, 12 ounce, 8 ounce, whatever, but it's the little 4 ounces. You hold them up in that 90-degree angle. You give them the little bottle, but after each 4 ounces, you put them on your shoulder and you pack the little back. And you pack that little back until you get a full burp. Remember, the air that's coming out of that stomach, it comes out, okay? And then you can continue. Or sometimes you may have to do after 2 ounces. But after each feeding, you make sure you get the full burp. But now, after you finish the full burp, you have to still hold the baby in that position, up, not laying down, up, just head up, for at least about 20 minutes after the final feeding, after the burping, after the final feeding, to allow the formula to just settle in his little stomach. Allow him to settle. Take your time. You could be rocking him or holding him or her. And by the time that 15 to 20 minutes has passed, then you are able to lay the baby down and the formula remains in the stomach area. Because if you lay the baby down immediately, what's going to happen? He's going to spit it up, right? Yeah. Okay, so now that's going to avoid the spills. And the special care of calming the child down and the fan, all that's going to help you. Let's not stop. Well, let's stop here for today, my friend, and continue in our next show. There's one other serious reason why infant cries. And next week, we're going to pick up on the chemical dependent baby. You don't want to miss this one. I ask that you go on in and do your own homework. Google it, YouTube it. The chemical dependent baby. This is the mother who, unfortunately, she took drugs during her pregnancy. And this child has consumed all of this during the prenatal stage. And when this child comes home from the hospital, then, I'll just say there's a lot to share. There's a lot to share. But look here. I want to thank you. Thank you also very, very much for staying with me. Our parents, our leaders, our children need to hear this. Please continue your conversation at home and share this information on my website. Go to YouTube and write my name in there in the search bar, Wanda Prowell, and you'll be able to replay all of my previous videos. This video is going to be uploaded to next week, probably Monday, but it is going to be active on Facebook, and you can continue to share and review that. But because we have such a limited amount of time together on our bi-weekly Ever Better Talk show, let me share this incredible book. Here we go. This incredible book here with you. Yeah, this is Family Reunion. We have such a short time to be together on bi-weekly, but I want you to know that this book here goes into detail in describing personal family responsibility for all children, the necessary guidance, children's safety and supervision for all children in family, individual household members, and also for those family friends. Yes, family friends. When everyone is over, the supervision of your child from birth to 18 years old, especially the infants and the toddlers, because these are the kids whose verbal skills are not well developed at this point. So, and it emphasized on key key factors that you as parents can help for the safety of your child. Well, go to www.resolved-2010.com. There you'll be able to review those books for purchase, or you may go to the Amazon.com or Barnes and Noble and do this, and you will understand my passion for these messages and why I love doing what I do for our teens and families. God bless you, all of you. I love you. Stay safe and dare to make a difference in the life of a child. God bless you.